Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. It is your favorite dark sorcerer here. And tonight I'd like to do a video on types of magic. Okay. More so, I know I just completed a video, but I ended up deleting it because there was something about it that just didn't feel right about it. So I deleted it, and now I'm going to do a new one because of the fact that I want to do this in a certain manner that will speak to you. Okay. First of all, let's talk about planned rituals. Okay, planned videos. Okay. First of all, I do have some planned videos coming up that deal with different types of both rituals and what these rituals entail. Okay, what they are, their histories. Okay. And I've also got one planned, which I'm thinking about. That's going to be the first one. That is my personal thoughts upon these rituals. Okay. Now, because everybody seems to have an opinion, and and no matter what you do, you're gonna piss somebody off. Okay, it's just the way it is. So I've been thinking about doing these rituals and these videos for a while now, for a couple of weeks, and I wanted to break down the rituals one by one so that you know the difference between, say, for an example, spells that deal with monetary gain, that of dealing with titles and names, that dealing with destruction rituals, that dealing with lust rituals, and those that deal with compassion type rituals. Just breaking them down in general so that you, as the neophyte or acolyte, or even if you're just an adept or maybe an intermediary practitioner that's looking to further your studies and your practices, can benefit from them. Okay. Now, in the past, I've always put an emphasis upon doing your own homework. Okay. Don't take things at face value, but instead go out and do your own homework. You know, research not from one religious preference or philosophical preference, but look at it from every region of the world. Okay, and see what relates to you, what resonates with you on a personalized level. Okay, now there's been a lot of things going on lately, not just within rituals, but on social media and in the world alone that I really wanted to touch upon. And I think this new series that I'm going to be putting forth will benefit you in this manner. Okay. Now I know a lot of people are concerned about this coronavirus. Well, no one really cares about that anymore. It's just they're making a big propaganda over such a little bitty flu. Okay, more people die through allergens and accidental poisonings than they do from this thing. Okay, but here's the thing: the videos that I'm going to be putting forth, I'm not interested in reaching everybody. I'm more interested in learning the few that actually want to evolve. Those who actually want to rise above divisions and adversities. Those who want to get away from the drama, okay, and really delve 150% into sorcery and evolve and learn how to utilize it to benefit your life and that of your family. Okay. Now, don't get me wrong. I know a lot of people have families that are not into the same religions. You could be a Satanist, you know, associating and married to a Christian woman or guy for that matter. Okay. Or vice versa. You could be a witch married to a Christian man. Okay. Or you could be in a relationship with one of the other traditions of the JCI, perhaps even a Wiccan married to a necromancer, you know, a dark sorcerer compared to a druid, a druidess, you know. It really doesn't matter the practice that you're into, okay? It's only an issue if you want to make it an issue, okay? So after I performed this last video, I was thinking about it, and it just didn't sit well with me. So I deleted it, like I said. So now I really want to put this out there and strongly emphasize on the fact that there is so much out there that most practices do not want you to know. Most authors don't put everything into their books. And those who do write books will tell you you have to be initiated into these practices. Okay. I had somebody sit there and call me a boko. Okay. The other day, I had to laugh about it because of the fact that out of the blue, he just goes, "Oh, you're a boko. Ha 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 ha." And a boko or a bokor is basically a practitioner that deals with black magic, deals with sorcery within demonolatry or angelic, some form of spiritualism that deals with supernatural beings. Okay, but mostly they offer their services for a price. Okay, this is called consumerism. Okay, and I actually touched on this a little bit within the video that I deleted. So, but I really want to expand on it. I don't want to sit there and talk about one subject with it because I think personally that there's so much that can go into each topic, each type of practice. Over the last year, I've been delving into necromancy and really walking that path. And as my own apprentice pointed out today at work, I've been walking more as a necromancer these days and a dark sorcerer than as a traditional Satanist. You know, I haven't really been interested in that tradition very much anymore because I've been delving into this path working, this root working that's been really holding my attention strongly over the last year. You know, I've really been delving into the old gods, getting into the sorceries, the herbalism, the alchemy, the practices, the runes, everything. Getting back into this stuff really, really on a very heavy and professional mannerism. And there's some things, a friend of mine pointed out, there's the systems, the independent systems like Wicca, Wiccan, pagan, Satanist, witchcraft, shamanism. These are all systems. But then you have that current that once you connect to it, benefits you more because of the fact that when you touch upon that current and you really delve into it, it's going to really benefit you in a huge, huge manner. Touching on these gods and the different terminologies, getting into the various different traditions of both medical, but also um, spiritual and physical. Something that I think a lot of people really need to get into because it will open you up to what is more. Okay, things that you're closed off to. And I've been seeing a lot of this on social media where most recently I've been getting these emails, okay, these threats. I've been being attacked a little bit, and it really doesn't bother me. It really doesn't. You know, I did 3 videos on it. Just 3, maybe 4 videos on it, just to give that individual or individuals, that little recognition that they want. Okay, but I also did a little probing and released a little bit of information just to see what would happen. Okay. This is the art of cognitive warfare, but it is also a form of spiritual warfare. Okay. And this is one of the topics that I do plan on discussing on a serious nature, especially for those of you who wish to explore spiritual warfare, to deal with spiritualism on a professional, if not long term basis. Okay. Because even in my own 30 years of practice, I have really come across a lot of things. And I can honestly tell you that I haven't handled it, to the best that I could have. Okay. And then it got to the point where I just ignored it altogether. Okay. You have witch wars and all that other stuff that take place. And I think a lot of it really comes down to spiritual warfare and how you want to deal with it for yourself. When you start maturing and you start growing as a practitioner and you start building up that knowledge and dealing with the grimoires and stepping away from the public life and the world views, you tend to open up a lot more. The mechanics of sorcery in general is going to really benefit you because you're going to learn about how things work and why things work. Okay. It's not just about, what you see today, such as chaos magic, the different color type magics, like blue or green, witchcraft or whatever. You know, the only 2 types of magic that I have truly seen over 30 years is black and white. Those that would consider to be spiritualists, those that deal with healing, psychic awareness, and then those that are baneful and destructive, like, say, for an example, hexcraft and cursing, compared to, say, mediumship and spiritualism. Some people work with angels. You look at Lori Bruno, hell of a strega. She is. I mean, she knows her stuff. I mean, hands down. And then you have people like Raymond Buckland, who really touched on the scientific and spiritual practice of neo-paganism. You know, you get into works such as, say, let's go with Curtis Joseph. The black, or was it the Grimoire of Orion? I think it was it Black Magic of Orion. Okay, hell of a book. There was a lot of information in there, and I really loved it, especially since I started doing my own research into Orion and Zoroastrianism. The sorcery surrounding that. There's some things that I didn't quite agree with, but a lot of it connected with what I was doing. And when I got into, I started delving further into possessions and spiritualism even further, and you start seeing how the Nephilim and the angelics and the demonic play into effect. How demons are roughly translated into guardians. How grimoires and talismans really play a huge part in your career. How they can be carried. One translates into be carried. Another one for protection, and especially if you get into Arabic translations of things and what they mean. Okay, then you get into the independent deitas and the folk tales and the folklores, such as the Elven, the Sith, or the Sadi. Getting into draconics and the currents there. You know, you start seeing a huge increase, a vast gnosis that gets opened up. It's like your third eye just explodes, and you get all excited because it's there. You know, so the fact that I've been walking this path of a necromancer and working with the Magick Cabal system a lot. Yeah, I've met a few resistant individuals. One who pulled away because he didn't like this aspect, and he decided to call me a snake in the grass and attack me out of the blue. You know, and yet he was still talking to me as though we were best friends. And I posted this on Facebook. So you're gonna get this stuff in your path workings, and it's how you deal with it. That defines who you are. There are times when you need to report it to the local authorities. Other times you need to um, just do nothing at all. You know, and then there's those times where you simply give them the recognition that they're looking for, and they literally go away. Okay, and you'll learn this as you become more adept into the magics and the sorceries. Sometimes it's about working with deities, and other times it's about growing your own power. Okay, your own spiritual power from your third eye to your ka, your soul, and dealing with things like sigil magic, seals, and working with spiritual entities to further your own personalized career. And that's if you really want to learn and delve into this stuff. So I've been really putting together notes, and I've been putting together, trying to break down these videos into different categorizations to help you learn. And on top of that, I've been working on essays for a book that I'm planning on putting together and publishing, especially on my own research and studies of necromancy and really breaking them down. Okay, I've got two essays completed now, and I'm getting ready to go into the third. Okay, so I mean, it's really coming along nice. I mean, the first one was in Curtis Caval's book, Sabbatica. It was called The Feared Art of Necromancy by me. And I just wrote this second one because out of the blue, while working with the Drelith, the Elven and the Sadi and the Draconic, even, I'm working with the Witches of the Depths and Zashira, I've and then delving in and starting to work with Chernobog, out of Slavic traditions. I started getting excited about it and just delving in. And I started writing, and next thing I know, I've got over 3,000 words and a second essay, written, just about. So, I mean, the second one, has gone over 4,000 words, you know, and I started thinking about all the applications and all the aspects of this, and I figured, you know what? Why don't we just see where it goes? So that's where I'm going. I'm going into a third essay, and so, I mean, these videos and these works are going to be there for you. They're going to be there for those in the future that really want to learn, those who want to become educated, like the old mage and sage, the magi and sages of ancient times that really delved into the knowledge. They had the knowledge of the arcane. They had the knowledge of herbs and plants, the venoms and the mastery of the sciences for both medical and healing to destructive magics and getting into the venoms and the poisons and all that other stuff. It wasn't all fun and games. It was about spiritualism. It was about a lot of things. And it's time to bring this stuff back. And I strongly believe that the spirits are really trying to give the world a wake-up call. You know, you look around, and I mean, humanity considers itself sophisticated. Actually sophisticated. Oh, we've outgrown this and that. Really, one little flu hits, and you return to your animalistic state. Yeah, that's real sophisticated. Okay. I watched a guy today at work. One of our regulars, he drove in. This guy literally tailgated him all the way around the building. Guy gets to the mic to order his coffee, and you're hearing the horn in the background. As soon as he drives off to come down to the window, this guy gets up there, and before you even have a chance to do anything, he whips out his drink and then just drives down towards the window. And he gives the regular customer a lot of bullshit, a lot of hate, and a lot of discontent and chaos, harassing him. And what's ironic is you did all that for an extra large coffee. Just an extra large coffee. Wow. You can't be patient enough to go through a line and order a drink like an adult. This is what separates sophisticated individuals from animalistic. You look at the old magi and sage, witches and warlocks, the practitioners compared to ancient cultures. Do you ever stop to wonder why kings and villagers went to these practitioners for guidance upon these issues? Even in biblical lore, you have Nicodemus, an educated individual, going to Jesus Christ. You have Saul, King Saul, who sends his top people out to seek out the most powerful seer. You go into African traditions, you see where kings had their practitioners live right next to them in the center of a village, to which they always went to before doing anything. You go into European traditions, and you're going to see where they either lived in the village, just outside the village, or on the edge of the village. And they were always respected. They were always referred to and feared for a reason. If people couldn't pay them, they traded with them. If you couldn't give them currency, furs, fish, in exchange for their aid, were done. A form of commerce, consumerism. But it was respected. It was put down in a manner of both respect, humbleism, and fear, but also understanding that it worked. It was a belief. And that's not even getting it into the actual practices, the mechanics. So these videos that I'm going to be putting forth are really going to share this stuff with you. I'm going to be breaking things down for you so that you will be able to understand what they're about and how to perform them for yourself, so that you don't have to pay a practitioner to do this stuff. You know, the only thing I charge is for my time. That's it. You know, I'm not going to have you pay an arm and a leg, because I don't really care about money. I don't care about subscriptions. I don't care about popularity. I do it for the arts and the practice, because that's what I'm about. It's about education. It's about knowledge, because knowledge is power. It's probably why I'm got a lot of Christians that fear me, but it's also why a lot of people watch my videos and like to learn. Most of them don't interact. Some of them have questions and they come to me through Messenger. Others will sit there and engage, while that 1% want to learn from me because they've noticed that what I'm teaching is true, but it also works. There's a lot of things out there there's, that work, but you got to do it for yourself. It's not about getting rich because if that was the case, we'd all be rich. Every single one of us that are practitioners of the arts. Hey, Lolan, you know, you look at Frank White for an example. Last year, when he moved to LA from Germany, he did a video stating that he is no longer accepting anything underneath seven figures. Seven figures. It's like, yeah, that's something that's gonna screw him big time on that, I think. But don't get me wrong, I love the guy's videos. The guy knows his stuff. You know, you got to give him props on that. But if practitioners could get rich, it would happen. You know, the universe has a way of balancing things out, and it's true. If things start getting out of balance, the universe steps in and brings it into balance. You look at what's going on in the world. Guess what? You're learning from you're paying for your mistakes. Something that used to belong to animals and only was through animals is now being passed on from human to human. It's an airborne agent. It is a physical agent. Prime example. And people are treating it as though it's biblical. The end of days. Yeah, you had 20 years to prepare for the coronavirus. 20 years since Sylvia Brown first saw it. And she wrote about it in her book, The End of Days. She said that it was a pneumonia like flu that attacks the lungs. And as quickly as it appears, it will disappear after it ravages the world and will reappear 10 years later and then be gone for good. He had 20 years, 15 to 20 years. See, this is human arrogance. It's stupidity. Like paying $2,000 to clean out a shelf of freaking toilet paper or baby wipes or something. You know, you're panicking over the littlest thing. And yet more people die of smallpox than of this. But yet it can be avoided through herbalism, through alchemy, through basic maintenance, mechanics of sorcery. Think about that. And when you do get sick, there are things that can boost your immune system. There's things that can cleanse your blood. People are willing to spend hundreds of dollars to go to a medical professional, unaware that these same things can be done and have been known for hundreds of years, going all the way back to the Paleolithic era and beyond. It's only human arrogance that prevents you from rising, evolving. But keep an eye out for these videos because they're coming soon. And yes, I will be sharing my personal experiences in these. All right? Have a good night. And until further notice, this dark sorcerer is out.